Love cannot be forced. It just comes naturally. But what happens when you fall for the very girl you're helping your friend with? Let's find out. We're introduced to Ashley Grant, the most popular girl in school. She meticulously gets ready for the day, taking care of every single feature of hers, enhancing them with just the right amount of makeup, not too much, just right to sculpt her features into perfection. Her thick dark locks complement her look, specifically her accessories, which make her the trendsetter. And last but not least, a touch of elegance with a whiff of sweet-smelling perfume, enough to turn anybody she passes by. After all eyes will be on her as she enters the gates of the school. Ryan and Maggie are next-door neighbors who share a car to go to school. They hop into the car after sharing the usual pleasantries. They have a very unusual way of describing their boring, bland after-school life to each other, where Maggie tells him that her driver took her shopping, and then she stopped by the club, and then she wound up after spending a couple of hours talking about fashion with the popular boy band Beastie Boys. Picking on the shenanigans, Ryan tells her that his evening unfolded by picking Ashley Grant in a Ferrari, having dinner with her in one of the restaurants he owns, and reluctantly making an appearance at some VIP awards show party. They share a laugh at their silly talk, as none of it is true. Maggie finally says she spent her evening watching TV and making a mixtape. Ryan played the accordion. They laugh again at their life's platitudes. At school, Maggie is worried about Ryan's obsession with Ashley Grant. She thinks he is wasting his time as the entire school has a crush on her. He would get lost somewhere in the middle among her pursuers. As they are talking about her, the woman herself makes an appearance in the flesh. As she steps out of the car, all heads turn toward her. She walks to her friends, aware of the eyes following her but not giving a single glance to anybody. She knows how to hold attention. Ryan gulps hard as he sees his crush walk by. He is mesmerized by her and has liked her for as far as he can remember. Such is her charm that people would forget what they were doing if she were in a close radius, like this kid who was skateboarding, but as soon as he saw her, he forgot how to ride his skateboard and fell, hurling his book in the air. She couldn't do anything for him but catch his book before it hit the ground. The kid doesn't mind breaking his back because Ashley talked to him, asking if he was okay, and his book got saved by her. He is a bit weird though, thinking she wants him just because she talked to him. He might have hurt his head. Maggie and Ryan are joined by their friend Floyd as they go to their classroom. Chris and his friends arrive on campus. They admit they are going to miss school for every other reason than studies. Summer break will start in a month's time. Chris's only qualm is not being able to get attention from Maggie. He plans to ask her out yet again, but with a modified plan. He has his heart set on her, and he will do whatever it takes to make her say yes to him. Ryan is walking in the corridor when he absent-mindedly bumps into Ashley, who is fixing her lipstick. The impact makes her lose her balance, and she ends up smudging her lipstick. He started apologizing, but as soon as he saw her, his brain stopped thinking logically, and he mumbled strange words that didn't make sense. Ashley mocks him because she is not used to hearing something that seems like a complaint about her mouth. Ryan instantly regrets his utter inconsideration. To add to his dismay, Maggie and Floyd also mock him about his luck with women, especially beautiful ones. Ryan's mom, Katie, is the school's nurse. As the students enter the auditorium, she requests everybody to settle down for a very important lecture on adult education. The school authorities want their students to be responsible and not make mistakes they would regret afterward. Chris tries to hit it with Maggie again by blocking the seat, but she dismisses him. She shows absolutely no interest in him, which leaves him wanting more. The lecture starts with everybody engrossed. The topic excites students as it is the time of their life when they explore themselves and their possible partners. Ashley turns back a few times during the lecture, looking in Ryan's direction. Ryan feels a little nervous. She turns again, this time asking him if he is interested in coming to her house and hanging out with some friends she is having over. Ryan can't believe Ashley is inviting him to hang out with her. He is about to respond, but Chris speaks from behind him before he can. He has plans, so he denies. In all this ordeal, Ryan is left flustered because he thought Ashley was talking to him when all this while she was talking to Chris. The lecture ends with a lot of hooting and giggles. Ryan complains about the lecture being a bad dream, and if it couldn't get any more awkward, it was given by his mother. Floyd stresses on the importance of dreams and tells about his dream to become the next Virgil Doolittle. Virgil Doolittle was a former student of Gilmore High School who got expelled for stealing the school founder, Cooper Gilmore's statue's neck. Furthermore, Virgil was arrested and charged with mayhem. Even after 21 years of this incident, Virgil is considered to be a legend, and Floyd practically worships him. Back home, Ryan is playing his accordion on his balcony when Maggie comes with a lighter and sways it like the audience do in concerts. Ryan stops when he sees her. Maggie asks him if they can go to the prom together, which is due in 3 weeks. Since she didn't have anybody to go with, she thought what better choice than her best friend, Ryan. Ryan pulls her leg when she reminds him that he will have to tag with Floyd and the other boys because he won't have a date to go to the prom. Hearing this, Ryan instantly agrees to go with her as her date. She thanks him and wishes him goodnight. The next day, at the baseball practice, Floyd asks Ryan if he's going to prom with Maggie. This makes Ryan lose his focus, and he falls to the ground in his attempt to avoid the ball hitting him. His coach mocks him and asks him to get up. Floyd further adds to the mockery, jokingly saying this news is all over the school. When Ryan falls once again at the next ball, Floyd confesses that it was Maggie who told him. Floyd encourages him to pursue Maggie, but Ryan thinks otherwise. He hasn't thought about Maggie in any other way than as a friend. He is too distracted to see the third ball coming his way and gets hit on his head. He wakes up to find Floyd wiggling his fingers on his face, asking him to identify the number. He then helps Ryan up. He wants Ryan to see something and takes him to the maintenance room. It is locked, but he knocks in a secret pattern only known to him and the people inside. A guy opens the door. Floyd hands him $10, but the man asks for $20. Floyd argues but ends up giving the remaining $10, gaining entry for one of them. Floyd, being a good friend, and also because Ryan got hit on the head, sends Ryan and asks for details once he is out. Ryan has no idea what is going on until he is shoved through a door that leads to the girls' shower room. Before sending Ryan off, he warns Ryan to be discreet and not get caught. But in case he does, he cannot tell anybody about this special arrangement. Once Ryan is in, he spots Ashley. He hesitates a bit but decides to follow her, hiding behind every possible place he can find to hide. He sees Ashley and another girl when he spots his mom walking towards where he is hiding. He runs to avoid his mom. He couldn't even catch his breath when a new group of girls entered the shower, making him run to find another hiding spot. He crawls on all fours and finally manages to find another place to hide. From there, he sees Ashley like never before. He is awestruck when the physical education teacher breaks his concentration, and he runs. He comes out of the ladies' shower and finds Chris standing outside. He gets startled seeing him there but soon runs. Chris tries to stop him, but Ryan doesn't want anything to do with him, so he keeps walking. He stops only when Chris asks him about Maggie. Ryan knows Chris is a popular jock, and all the women go crazy for him. Also, he has known Maggie his entire life, and she is nothing like those women that Chris usually goes out with. So he tells him that Maggie is not his type. Chris also knows about his perpetual crush on Ashley and retorts that she isn't his type either, but he adds a proposal. He can help set up Ryan with Ashley if he helps him with Maggie. Chris is Ashley's cousin. Ryan has doubts, and he is genuinely concerned for his friend. But Chris assures him that he really is interested in her as she is special. In the end, Chris manages to convince Ryan to help each other. Also, seeing Ashley show up at that moment makes Ryan blurt out yes, without giving it much thought. They shake hands, finalizing the deal, and for some reason, the skateboarder also seems to be very interested as he proceeds to become the third hand shaker. It appears that he really did hit his head in the morning when he fell. Later, Ryan shares this with Floyd, who is ecstatic because a nerdy, almost invisible guy dating the most popular and the prettiest girl in the school is unheard of. If Ryan manages to make Ashley his girlfriend, there will be hope for guys like him. Floyd is thrilled at this prospect, so he makes Ryan understand how big of a chance this is for him. Ryan meets with Chris at the nurse's office, and Chris writes an insulting email to Ashley, talking all nonsense about how her friends are stuck up, her hair looks butchered, and she wears too much makeup. Chris thinks Ashley will love this, but Ryan thinks otherwise. After all, who would want to be insulted like this? Also, the email was an anonymous one, which makes it somewhat bullying. Ryan protests because here he sent beautiful poetry to Maggie on Chris's behalf, and Chris is all set to end any chance Ryan holds with Ashley. Chris hits the enter button and sends the mail. Ryan is worried that Ashley will hate him now, but Chris assures him that nothing of that sort will happen. Everybody at school has something nice to say about her, which is no longer a big deal for her. So to make Ryan stand out, it is necessary they do something different. Ryan still doesn't believe Ashley will like him after all those derogatory remarks. They leave the office before anybody sees them. In the hallway, Chris tries to introduce Ryan to other popular girls from his group, so that he can worm his way into the clique. The girls don't recognize their own classmate and think he is a new kid. They are interrupted by Chris's friends, who come charging toward the girls and instantly take them into an embrace, suggesting that they are couples. One of the girls then asks Ryan if he knows about the party. Chris remembers that Ashley is organizing a party at her place, so he asks Ryan to come, as this would serve as a perfect opportunity for him to get to know her well. He leaves with his group asking Ryan to bring someone with him. He clearly wants him to bring Maggie along. Maggie and Ryan are outside Ashley's house. Maggie is not so sure whether they should be here because, amongst all those popular kids, these two would stick out like sore thumbs. But she is doing it for her best friend. Soon Floyd reaches too. His dad drops him in the garbage truck he drives. Along with him are two of their other nerd friends, one of which is dressed in a suit. Ryan cannot take it anymore, so he goes inside without saying anything, and the rest follow. Floyd and the other two are beyond excited, as it is their first time at such a party. They cannot help but hop as they make their way in. The place is bustling with people, and everybody is having fun. Floyd quickly makes his way to the other side of the venue to get some drinks. Ryan looks around when his eyes stop on Ashley. Ashley looks absolutely stunning in her gorgeous sheer cocktail dress. Maggie scoffs that she was going to wear that dress, but Ryan is too distracted to hear her. He sees Ashley making her way upstairs and decides to follow her. Maggie is left on her own, so she wanders around, finding a spot in the corner, and sits on the sofa. Beside her, a kid is wrapped in tape from neck to toe, constricting his movements. Maggie pokes fun at him by asking him if she can dance with him. Ryan finds Ashley in the bathroom. He stands at a distance when she lets him know that he can come in and use the bathroom. But before he could respond, Floyd comes in and embarrasses Ryan by saying an inappropriate thing. Ryan tries to explain, but Ashley slams the door in their faces. Everybody is dancing, but Floyd and his two nerdy friends are sitting on the couch opposite to three beautiful women. There is an awkward silence as no one speaks. They are just staring at each other when one of the women asks why one of them is dressed up in a suit. Floyd, with no regard for anybody's sentiments, explains that his mother died that morning and then proceeds to step onto the dance floor to dance, while leaving the situation more awkward than before. Maggie goes to the juice bar for a refill when she hears Ashley talking to her friends. They are all bad-mouthing someone. This makes Maggie disgusted, and she quickly makes her way out of there. Chris and Ryan are standing nearby. Chris encourages Ryan to talk to Ashley. Gathering courage, Ryan walks up to Ashley and asks her if she got the email. She politely asks him if he is the one who sent the email, and he replies in the affirmative, thinking all is well as she is smiling. Instead, she empties down her drink on him, making her friends giggle as she walks away. Chris decides to try his luck with Maggie. Finding her sitting alone, he makes his move and sits beside her. He then asks her if she got his poetry. She is surprised to see it was Chris who sent her that. She admits she liked it very much, but Chris takes it as an invitation and starts playing with her hair. He then creeps on her, making her uncomfortable. She leaves feeling repulsed. Chris is the type of guy who doesn't know how to approach women's emotions, so he acts nonchalantly. He has got women easy all his life because he was popular, and didn't really feel the need to make any real effort. Ryan comes there and sarcastically remarks on Chris. They both are irritated because none of their strategies worked. Ryan reminds Chris that Maggie is not the type of girl who can be solicited easily like other girls, and no matter how romantic and beautiful the composition is, Maggie will never let Chris have his way. Chris retorts back by saying that Ashley too isn't very eager to get together with Ryan. Ryan is upset at Chris too. His idea was supposed to impress her and not depress her. His idea totally backfired. Chris explains his idea of impressing women. According to him, women are attracted to men who act rude and insolent. He shows him two kids from their school behind the counter, teasing women by bursting crackers. He adds that these guys will leave the party with girls even though they are being a nuisance. Ryan asks for the logic behind such an absurd idea. So Chris explains that the idea is to tap on the insecurities of the girls. Some girls are insecure, and they need to take advantage of that. Ryan doesn't believe that Ashley can be insecure. Chris tells him that she is the head cheerleader of insecurity. Because she is popular, she gets easily affected by other people's opinions. Ryan still doesn't understand. So Chris just encourages Ryan to talk to her. He pushes him towards Ashley. As Ryan bumps into her, she loses her balance and falls into the swimming pool. Chris wishes him luck because now there is no going back for Ryan. Ryan just stands with a dumbfounded look on his face. He can't wrap his head around what just happened. Ashley curses him as she tries to swim to the edge. Floyd stays in his own small little world. He saw how the guys burst crackers to annoy some girls, and what Chris said about girls finding annoying boys attractive. So he brings a bunch of crackers and lights them on fire inside the house, sending a wave of panic around everybody. The women are not at all impressed and curse him as they walk out from there with soot-covered faces and half-burnt clothes. They push him as they walk past him. His nerdy friends get upset with him for sabotaging their attempts. The girls were having a good time with them, but he came and spoiled everything. The girls tell other guys what Floyd did. He knows he'll get in trouble if he gets caught, so he makes a run to save himself from the big guys who are coming after him. All this drama had given Maggie a headache, so she left the party without telling anyone. Chris and Ryan sit together after most of the kids have gone home. Ryan is worried that Chris's plan is not working. Chris tells him that he is on the right track, because Ashley has asked him 20 times if her hair really looks as bad as the email guy had written. Ryan is still unsatisfied because he doesn't want to be mean to her. Chris reminds him that Ashley hasn't been particularly sweet to him either, and adds that all Ryan has to do is help him with Maggie, and Chris will, in turn, make sure Ashley and Ryan get together as a couple. Maggie is sleeping in her room when she has something bright shining on her face, waking her up. She walks to her balcony and finds Ryan with a laser light. He wants to know why she left the party so early. She felt bored, so she came back. Ryan then tries introducing Chris into the conversation. He tries to convince her that Chris is not as bad as she thinks he is, and it has been quite a while since she has been on a date. He advocates till when is she going to hang out with him and the other guys, because it is always them. She doesn't go out with new people. This might be an opportunity for her to know people other than people from her own clique. She reminds him how she has been. He understands but also wishes things change for her. She goes back to her room to sleep after the conversation. The next day, Ryan is driving alone to school. He picks up Floyd and another friend, Cosmo, on his way. They are dressed as outrageously as ever. Ryan mocks them by asking if they got dressed in the dark. Floyd comes back at him for his remark by taunting on his attempts to pursue Ashley. And just like that, it is the beginning of a new day at school for them. At school, Chris walks to Ryan to ask about the email he got from Maggie. Ryan explains that it is what she calls a soul quiz. It is about movies, books, and music. The purpose behind this quiz is to find a new person for herself based on the other participants' responses. If he passes that quiz, he will officially enter Maggie's life. Chris is happy to hear that as he thinks it is a smooth sail for him from here. However, things have become challenging for Ryan because now Ashley hates him. As he says this, they both turn toward Ashley, who has come to the school wearing a hat. Chris clarifies that Ashley doesn't hate him. She is taken aback by such a comment, as no one has said anything like this to her up until now. She acts like she doesn't care, but in reality, she cares about what is being said about her. And what is bothering her is the fact that she cannot figure out Ryan. She is used to getting attention from men, but now a guy has come who shows no interest in her. Later they go to the cafe so that Ryan can answer the quiz on Chris's behalf. Ryan is hanging out with Maggie, and she is telling him about the responses she got from Chris. Maggie is baffled because he aced her quiz. She never thought that the most popular, good-looking jock would be interested in her. It makes her feel nervous. Ryan reminds her that it is too late to think about all this, because they have a double date that night. Chris is also convincing Ashley to come on the double date. Ashley shows as if there is nothing special about Ryan. But as soon as Chris tells her that Ryan thinks Ashley is not special, she's more than willing to go and show Ryan just how special she is. Both Ryan and Chris are playing their parts in getting the girls' interests piqued. The girls agree to come. Once back home, Ashley tries to find a nice dress to wear, but she feels off, and something doesn't feel right to her. So she calls Ryan, saying she cannot go about the plan, and she's calling Chris to cancel. Ryan tries to convince her, saying he needs her, but she assures him that he will be fine without her. In the meantime, Floyd calls Ryan to wish him luck and give him some tips, but Ryan keeps him hanging as he has to let Chris know that Maggie will be calling to cancel. So he shouldn't pick up her call, but it is already late. He has Maggie on hold in the other line. Ryan decides to help Chris talk to Maggie into convincing her to come, but changes the plan soon. He calls Maggie to tell her that her mother fell down the stairs. Maggie excuses herself and cuts the call. Ryan calls back Chris and tells him his plan. He asks him to make up a sad story and ask her to come for emotional support. Maggie comes back and calls Chris, but Chris messes things up when he puts both Ryan's and Maggie's calls on a conference. So Ryan pretends to be Chris and starts talking to her. He makes a short emotional monologue on how he feels about Maggie. He belittles himself as Chris, but that is part of the plan. He even points out little details about her, like her lip-biting habit she does when she gets nervous. Chris, however, feels this is not going to work and intervenes as himself, asking if he should stop talking. But to his surprise, Maggie asks him to continue. Ryan picks up from there and asks her to come for the double date. She finally agrees. She has a smile on her face because her wait to meet someone new seems to be finally over. Ryan is exhilarated and dances as he gets ready for the date. The four go to a fair. The boys go to get drinks and discuss their further plan of action. Ryan tells Chris to be courteous and treat Maggie with respect, while Chris tells Ryan to act obnoxious and disrespect her. When they return, Chris compliments Maggie on her clothes awkwardly. Ryan cannot bring himself to say bad things to Ashley. Ashley is bored and decides to sit on a dangerous-looking ride. Ryan is scared at first but soon starts to enjoy the ride, until Ashley regurgitates on him the Slurpee she gulped down, just before sitting on the ride. Ryan asks Chris if he can borrow his shirt, but Chris denies. Left with no alternative, Ryan goes to a stall from where he gets the most audacious-looking crop shirt. He comes back and sees Chris playing games with the girls. He wins a giant bunny which he gives Maggie along with his shirt as she is cold. But it was Ryan who was left in the cold. Ashley admits that Ryan was right in the mail she sent. She didn't like her hairstyle. Ryan tries to compensate for that by complimenting her, but she soon loses interest. So Ryan goes with the strategy Chris taught him, and comments about her jeans being a piece of art. He grabs her attention as soon as he starts saying bad things about her appearance. While Chris tries to get close to Maggie on the ride, and in the process, drops the giant bunny on a kid standing underneath. At the end of their date, Chris drops Ryan and Maggie in front of their house. Since Ashley is busy talking on her phone, Ryan hops out of the car and starts to walk back home. Ashley follows him, calling him by the wrong name, as she has been doing throughout the night. She thinks he'll kiss her goodnight, but Ryan just extends his hand for a handshake. Ashley takes it the wrong way and bids him a suggestive goodbye. Chris thinks he'll get a similar goodnight, but Maggie just shakes his hand and bids him goodnight. Before leaving, she tells Ryan that she isn't sure about Chris because he acts insensitive sometimes. The next day, they are in their biology class. The teacher is teaching diseases. Chris whispers to Ryan, asking him what Maggie said about him. Ryan reiterates that Maggie thinks Chris has no heart. Chris doesn't usually use his brain that much, so he totally misinterprets it and blurts out heart disease, inadvertently answering the professor's question, and leaving the professor impressed. Soon the bell rings, and Chris invites Ryan to play football with him to impress Ashley. Ryan is a little disappointed as Ashley is very different from what he expected. Chris rebukes Ryan for thinking so. He explains that Ashley must have been nervous. Ryan understands and laughs it off. Ryan gets beaten up quite badly in the game as he goes against the jocks. Their team huddles and they make an action plan. For some reason, Chris keeps talking about Brian. Ryan has no clue what is going on, but to impress Ashley, he is willing to take the chance. Chris manages to make Ryan look good, and they end up winning the game. Ashley comes running toward Ryan and asks him to pick her up in the morning. Now it is Ryan's turn to make things right between Chris and Maggie. He takes Chris to the nursing home where Maggie volunteers, and they make a setup looking like Chris is taking care of the elderly. Chris is not so thrilled to do it, but Ryan assures him this will impress Maggie. Maggie is surprised to see Chris there. She appreciates his volunteering, and he lies that he does it from time to time. The elderly woman hears it all and to teach lying Chris a lesson. She asks him to assist her to the bathroom for number 2. After they get free from the nursing home, they go to the auditorium to help prepare the set for the play. While Maggie does all the work, Chris is swinging swords and not doing anything helpful. Maggie asks Chris why he is interested in her when they as a couple don't make sense. Ryan reaches there to help Chris. With his help, he manages to impress Maggie once again. As she switches on the lights on the stage, she glows as the soft light falls on her. For some time, Ryan forgets everything and, without thinking, says she looks beautiful. Chris repeats. Maggie is touched and turns teary-eyed. Ryan is surprised too, as he never looked at Maggie that way. Maggie comes closer to Chris and plants a soft kiss on his lips. Ryan watches them, and something stirs inside him. At home, Maggie talks to Ryan through her balcony. She is happy that she has finally found someone. She tells him how romantic and safe she felt when she used to hear Ryan's dad play the accordion for his mom. The feeling she used to get is exactly how she feels now with Chris. She never thought Chris had this side to him. Ryan still cannot get over how he felt back in the afternoon when he saw Maggie, so he cuts short their conversation and calls it a night. Floyd, thinking in his extreme ways, suggests to his friends that they bring escorts to their prom. Ryan and Ashley are finally an official couple. That made Ryan's popularity skyrocket. Everybody compliments them that they look good together. Now that he is together with Ashley, he doesn't want to get her upset with his choice of friends, as was evident in the morning when she called Floyd and the gang creepy and asked Ryan to hit the pedal before they could catch up to them. Ashley is self-centered, and because of this, she thinks every guy is after her. Practicing baseball, Floyd shows his displeasure at how Ryan treated them in the morning. Ryan apologizes, and Floyd forgives him. But things take a different course when Ryan again insults Floyd and the gang at lunch. Ashley and her friends think that the geeky guys are lame. And because Ryan is their friend, he is lame too. Seeing his chance lose with Ashley, he denies having any relations with Floyd and the group. He then asks the popular group to say any alphabet. When they start spelling, he comes up with the most disgraceful words to call them. Hurt, Floyd, and the gang walk away. Ashley has already begun to manipulate Ryan. Maggie is disappointed in Ryan for insulting his friends and tells him it is not worth it. Ryan runs after Floyd to apologize, but Floyd doesn't want to hear anything because he crossed the line this time. That evening, Ryan takes Ashley out for dinner at a fancy restaurant. There she starts touching him with her feet when suddenly the waiter arrives, startling her, which leads to her kicking Ryan in his. She gives her very detailed order while Ryan tries not to cry because of pain. During their time together in the hotel, Ashley tells Ryan about Chris's nail and bail strategy that he uses on every girl. He would get a girl to the bed, and afterward dump her like she is nothing. Ashley thinks Chris is with Maggie for this reason only. This gets Ryan thinking, and he decides to talk to Chris about this. At school, he tries to talk to Chris, but he says he is busy as he is going to meet with Maggie. He also added that he doesn't need his help anymore and can take it from here. Ryan is worried about Maggie and also a bit upset because he doesn't get to see her that often. Most of the things they used to do together, now he does it alone. One day Ryan and Ashley are in a cafe. Ashley calls the waitress and tells her the cake is terrible. The waitress apologizes and calls her by her name. Ashley asks her if she knows her. The waitress is Miranda, and she went to school with Ashley. When she extends her hand to shake Ashley's, Ashley retorts rudely by asking for the manager. Miranda offers to pay and leaves. Ashley calls her a loser. This does it for Ryan. He was tolerating her petty, self-centered, clueless, rude, and whiny self, but he's had enough. He leaves the cafe leaving his share of the bill on the table. Ryan confronts Chris about his plan to use Maggie. Chris acts like his unpleasant self and tells Ryan that he has had many encounters with the most popular girls using this strategy, and Maggie is no different than them. Ryan doesn't believe Maggie will do something like this. He also feels guilty because it was him who pushed Maggie into all this. He decides to talk to Maggie. During baseball practice, he asks Floyd about Maggie, but Floyd refuses to speak to him. Frustrated, he doesn't dodge the balls as he would usually do, impressing the coach. Ryan begs Floyd to tell him where Maggie is as it is important. The coach snarls remarks at him, making him really mad, and hits the third ball directly at the coach's. Ryan comes back home to find Ashley's girlfriends there. They ask him what happened between the two. They bombard him with questions asking him what she can do to make things right between them. To get them off his back, he sarcastically says, camping on his lawn and begging him profusely for forgiveness. He sees Maggie trying on a gorgeous dress she bought for prom through his window. He walks to the balcony, and so does she. He cannot stop himself from saying she looks perfect. She asks him if Chris will like it. At that time, Ryan decides to tell her how he had a deal with Chris, and that he would help him get Maggie in return for helping him with Ashley. And it was him all along who wrote the poetry, filled out the quiz, and told him what to say to her to make her fall for him. Maggie doesn't believe him. So Ryan asks her if Chris has ever said any of the familiar things to her in person. She defends him, saying he is shy, but Ryan knows the truth. He tells her that Chris is just dumb and it was him at the theater who called her beautiful because he means it. Ryan then confesses he has feelings for her. But Maggie has been betrayed. She calls him pathetic because things didn't work out for him and Ashley, so she thinks he is trying to tear Chris and her apart. Maggie leaves in tears after calling him a liar. Ryan feels miserable for what he has done. Floyd and the gang are having fun watching a movie when one of them brings up the topic of the prom's theme, which is Titanic dreams. Floyd argues that those people died, but his friends think otherwise. They say that those people have become legends. This gives Floyd an idea. Maggie has now covered her balcony with blinds and put up a sign saying "Go away." Ashley shows up in a bikini at Ryan's front yard, begging him to take her to the prom. Ryan doesn't have a choice, so he agrees. Chris picks up Maggie in a limo. They are traveling together with two other couples. They start making fun of how Ashley begged Ryan to take her to prom. When the girls start praising Ryan, whom they have been calling Brian all this time, Chris gets jealous and calls him a geek. He then asks Maggie to tell them about him. Maggie is still angry at Ryan, so she tells them that he plays accordion. Everybody laughs at this revelation. Floyd and his two friends reach the venue before anybody else and set up their grand plan, which is still a mystery. Soon everybody arrives. They are having fun. Ashley takes Ryan to get their pictures taken. As they reach the booth, Chris and Maggie are already there getting their pictures clicked. During the party, a kid runs up to Cosmo, calling him daddy, and a woman comes running after the kid. Cosmo introduces her to Floyd as his date. Floyd also steals the keys from the maintenance guy after he bumps into him deliberately. Soon the music stops as the coach stands on the stage. He announces that the prom king and queen will be announced in a few minutes. This is met with booing from the students. So he changes his announcement to no king and queen will be announced. Everybody cheers. Ashley excuses herself to go to the bathroom. Soon the slow music starts. Ryan's mom offers to dance with him till his date returns. He then sees Chris and Maggie dancing. As soon as Chris's eyes meet with Ryan's, Chris kisses Maggie on her neck to tease Ryan. It works as Ryan leaves immediately but soon returns with an accordion. He asks DJ to stop the music for a while. Then he walks up to the mic and announces all the notes are for Maggie. Ashley gasps as she hears another woman's name and leaves with her friends. Nobody is interested, but Maggie recognizes her favorite tune. It is the same music his dad used to play for his mom. His gesture touches her, bringing tears to her eyes. But soon, everything turns into chaos as Floyd goes ahead with his plan. The whole auditorium opens up to the pool underneath. Floyd planned this as a dedication to his idol Virgil Doolittle. Many students end up taking a dip in the pool. Floyd's plan aptly captures the essence of the theme of the prom, Titanic. Ashley, too, falls in. She asks Ryan for help. Ryan dives into the pool not to help her but to get to the other side of the floor, as he has seen Chris leave with Maggie. In all this mayhem, the fire trucks and cops arrive. Ryan meets Floyd outside. The cops try to figure out if someone saw something. Nobody seems to have seen anything. Ryan remembers how Floyd idolized the notorious Virgil Doolittle. So to fulfill his wish, Ryan tells the cops that he saw Floyd, who planned this whole thing himself. By doing this, Ryan makes everything all right between them. As the police arrest him and are about to take him, one of the sheriffs comes up to the arresting officers and says that he will deal with him. The girls show interest in the latest turned bad boy Floyd. Ryan then steals a limo to go to the nearby hotel where the post-prom party is being held, knowing that Chris has taken Maggie there. Suddenly Ashley appears in the back of the limo, ready to take things between them to the next level once they get there. At the hotel, Maggie tells Chris that this night is important for her. He repeats the same lines. She asks him to lie on the bed and make himself comfortable. Chris complies. Ryan and Ashley are there too. Ashley pulls Ryan in as soon as they find their room and is all ready, when he excuses himself under the pretext of getting champagne for them. He continues his search for Chris and Maggie. In some other room, Maggie has got Chris tied up on all four corners of the bed. She asks him which is his favorite story of the 9 stories. Chris is unable to answer, and Maggie very well knows that he has been lying. She blindfolds him and tells him he has been played. This makes him scream when she shoves a scarf in his mouth and clicks a picture of him on her Polaroid. She then opens the door and lets all the girls see Chris in that pathetic condition. Meanwhile, the skateboarder goes into Ashley's room, which is dark. Thinking it is Ryan, she asks him not to speak and take her, which the skateboarder doesn't mind at all. The sheriff takes Floyd out to a secluded spot in the woods. Floyd is sure he is going to get put to eternal sleep tonight, but he makes him dig up a sack containing something. The sheriff then sticks his name tag on it, and before leaving Floyd there, he tells him that he needs to think about his future. Floyd checks the name tag and sees that the sheriff is Virgil Doolittle. Ryan is back home. He calls out Maggie's name from his balcony. Her balcony is still covered in blinds. But this time, he won't give up so easily. He takes a few steps back before running forward and lunging into her balcony. Maggie gets mad at him for breaking in. Ryan tells her he just wants to talk. He apologizes for all his wrongdoings and confesses how hurt he is, because he lost her in all of this. She tells him how hurt she is over how he deceived her and steered her into the world of the popular clique, which made her feel like she belonged. He replies that she does belong. She belongs with him. Maggie tells him that she owes him one for letting him off the hook, and he agrees as he comes closer to her. He looks deep into her eyes and sees that love has been so close to him all this time. He leans in and kisses her gently. As the dawn breaks, Floyd goes back to school with the sack. It contains the missing neck. With an acetylene torch, he removes the head and puts the neck back on, then welds the head but backward.